Hey everyone, Hans here, hope everyone's doing well. Today I wanted to talk a bit about an excuse that I am confronted with quite a lot, which is the excuse that we've all probably heard or sometimes even used. It's the saying, oh, I'm just the one person, just one guy, just one girl, therefore I cannot change the world. Now, you all may know, or many of you do, that I do almost all the time, that I am basically always present in Hamdaller's home streams, and that there are all kinds of projects going on. You have the Magazine of Europe and Diaspora, you have the Wilder Homes project, and there is of course also Save Edelwolf, which is we're well on our way. We went over half of the income required to essentially save him. So that's good news. And why do I bring all of that up? It's because it shows that one person can do a whole lot. Can do a whole lot. May not be exactly what that one person wants, but perhaps maybe you're just putting the bar too high. You're not supposed to mm, lay out an entire kingdom by yourself, so to say. Absolutely not. But you, as the one person, can do something. Can do something for good. But maybe, maybe it's scary. Well, conquer your fear. Be brave. There's nothing else for it. It's a choice you make. Cowardice or bravery. Do you give in, or do you master that fear? Perhaps it can be that it is too hard or too much. Well, I can. What would be a good example that you see? These people who they want to buy 50 acres for their own family or whatever it's going to be. 50 acres for themselves to live off on by themselves, which is kind of selfish, but also pretty much insane to want to achieve that goal, so therefore they do nothing. Or they want everything right away. That's also a big one. If I can't have it within 5 minutes, it's not worth having. Well, or it's worth having, but I'm not gonna make any efforts for it, etc., etc. Yeah, it's all an excuse. So why do I bring up these examples? Is because those were a lot of people, or those are a lot of people, individuals, by themselves. They weren't ever asked, they weren't ever forced to do what is right within the skill sets they have. It's not even a. You can learn a new skill set. You should improve yourself. That's what life is about, or should be about. I would argue. But to as an individual say, I can do something. It's evident in all the achievements that we have uh, accomplished and are on our way to accomplishing. As is. Imagine how much quicker it would all go, and it's going pretty fast, not gonna lie. And thank you for all those who have supported us thus far. Yeah, we're still not quite there yet, but well, that is to say, we have accomplished that. Magazine is out, it's being printed. We've gotten in contact with a printing press who wants to do that. We're helping. We're well on our way helping a good man getting out of a dangerous area that he now lives in. We are, yeah, we are well on our way. It's all going good. You might argue then, well, why is it taking so long? Well, sure enough, and this is perhaps part of the reason why that excuse of, oh, I'm just the one guy comes from, is with less hands, it takes a bit longer to accomplish things. Now, That is very interesting, no? Or that is very important to realize. Yes, one person, it's gonna take a while to get something done. Write a book, talk to people, make artwork, um, support others financially with their projects. All of that good stuff. It will take a while. But imagine if right now, as this video, as you're listening, or whatever it is you're doing while you're listening into me, imagine right now that there is a few thousand people at least who are all saying to themselves, I'm just a one guy. Oh, look at them doing their thing, that's all cool and well, but I'm just a one guy. Now imagine those same thousands of people, those thousands of individuals saying to themselves, I can help, or I have a skill set that is worth using for good, for the good of others, for the good of yourselves. How much quicker would everything go? How much quicker will we find cause to, when we're still having fun, still having a good time, while you're, to put it in, to put it by saying, I guess, you can still smile while you're sitting in the trench, right? But how much cause for happiness, how much more cause for happiness would there be if the same thousands in this moment would have said, oh, I can do something, and I am going to do something. I'm going to find other people who want to join in that. Or if I see other people already do something, I'm going to support them. So their projects speed up. So then in turn, when those projects pay off, then they can perhaps, what would you call that? They can see the success and then be even more motivated. Does that make sense? And now I want you to think then, once you've realized that, how many years now have so many of us lived in fear and despair, drinking themselves into oblivion, complaining at everything and abusing, well, emotionally usually abusing those near them, while it's actually they're just so focused on anger rather than focusing on achieving things and being exemplary to those around them. Because yes, being exemplary is often also doing something very important thing actually. When you're in a group of when you're walking in a room and you see a bunch of teenage fellas, they're down, they're smoking weed, they're drinking, they're watching some cartoon or whatever nonsense because they have given up hope that they will have a decent future. What if you then walk in? You don't need to be rich, you don't need to be the most handsome dude in the world or the most beautiful girl in the world. What if you then, at the very least, can walk in with a smile and with pride, straight back, chin up, and tell them, get off your couch and come with me. We're gonna do whatever it is that is necessary to get you guys out of your depression. And from there on, who knows what skill sets you guys have to do the right thing, to do good things. So you actually have cause to be proud of yourself, and others have cause to be proud of you. How many years now? Maybe you who is listening now, you're afraid, you live in despair, you see everything deteriorate and it gets worse and worse and worse. You see the erasure of Europeans, and I also include Americans and New Zealanders, whites, Hyperboreans, all of that. You see the erasure, you see the self-harm being inflicted, you see the destruction of culture, of European culture, masked as multiculturalism or whatever it's terms they use, which is essentially the destruction of culture, not many cultures, the melting pot. Well, guess what? If everything melts together, you just end up with a bunch of trash, essentially. But yeah, that's a bit off topic, I suppose, or a bit of a tangent. But then you see all that, and instead of saying, "Oh, what can I do by myself?" instead you say, "I'm a great talker. I'm gonna go talk to people. I'm a comedian at heart. I like to crack jokes. Let me at least go break the depression. Give people a cause to laugh. Maybe you're a great electrician, and you figure, well, what can I do with my skills at laying these, all cables and I don't know what. I'm not an electrician myself, but what within the skill sets that you have can you then do for others? Even something simple, it's like come up with some creative electric decorations for holidays, or whatever it's going to be. Bring back culture that way. And it's all just a matter of creativity and the willingness to go there, to do what is right. All those years now that have passed, let's say from 2015 until now, last 5-6 years. Imagine if so many thousands or millions had said, I'm gonna do something good. I'm gonna help those who are putting their faces out there. I'm going to, or if you don't, I'm going to at least be a cause for happiness and genuine happiness and honesty and being proud, being tough, emotionally and physically. And show to others that they can be that as well if they would just make the effort. That doesn't mean you need to hold hands. It's not about dragging people along who don't want to. It's about taking the people along who also have the inner decency to come along. And if enough people had done that in 2015, rather than all the wailing and holding on to ideology and organized religion and all of that nonsense, or shouldn't I have called that nonsense? Because it has helped us so much, right? That's why so many are still in despair and sadness and what have you. Living in anger, lashing at anything, especially those who should be their friends. No. Imagine that 5 years ago, people would have just said, enough, I'm gonna start doing something useful, helping others, helping myself, doing the right thing, being supportive. I think we'd live in a happier 2021. I think we wouldn't be forced to do anything particular. Because those millions of people back then would have said, I'm gonna do something. Whatever it takes to not be shackled. Whatever it takes thus to be free. Not just be left alone, but to be free, meaning those would-be tyrants in the world out there, push them in the corners they want to force others into. There is so much I would want to say now, but I don't think I can, because then nobody is going to see this video. But do you get it? Yes, you may be the one person today make an effort. Make an effort for all those you don't know who are doing the same thing for you. That's the way forward. Maybe then, maybe a while, but maybe then 2025, we'll be looking back and we will be able to say, hey, remember 2021, when all of us individuals, rather than saying we're just a one, we all did something, we worked together, we supported those who did something, and now we're all living happier lives. We have less control. It's not gonna be gone, but there will be less of it. And that is something to celebrate. That's a little nugget of gold. And then by 2030, it will be even better, etc., etc. All it takes is the willingness to go there. Bit of constitution, bit of bravery, and a bit of skill. And who knows, we all may be happier for it. It's up to you, you one person. Suppose, as my examples went with Heimdaller's home and everyone that came to, they also were just one individual that decided, I can do something. And they are. The results are there to see. And more results will be there in the future. How much more example do you need before you realize it? That you can do something. If only you want to. If you want your life to have meaning, you need to give it meaning. And do something you'll be remembered for, with praise. Yeah, and with that said, I think I've said my piece on this. You all have a good one and bye-bye.